And so when I was brought on to work on the Jane series, an Apple original series with Sinking Ship, and Jane series was inspired by Jane Goodall. So naturally, it was a very green, thought out series. And for my part, as the producer and director of all the doc elements that were embedded into the fiction show, we wanted to feature experts and basically anyone who had worked with these endangered animals. And for me, it was very, very important, as well as many people on the show, to make sure that we are showcasing and telling stories of local heroes, local experts, and people on the ground who born and raised where the animals are endangered from, And I think to your point, Daniel, around telling those stories, I think it's important to also, you know, bring the awareness that, these types of thinking and conscious thinking about sustainability and climate change and who are the people working actively on this aren't just folks in North America or Europe. It's folks, also on the grounds in Sri Lanka, in the Philippines, in China, and the Sumatran rainforest. And so it's really important to highlight those local heroes and to connect them to young people. So young people can not only see themselves on the screen, but also to show that, this is a global issue. And we all have to work together to be able to not only just save the animals, but really save our environment. And so to be able to showcase, and to film in 15 different countries, and this was still in partially still a bit during the pandemic as well. And so we had to again think about how do we do this and do this safely. And so we not only brought in the lockdown method where we built out these remote camera kits with laptop camera and to be able to ship these packages out so that everyone that we featured would be able to have an easy setup and do these interviews with them. It took a lot of coordination, a lot of time, and if we weren't able to ship out a package, we were then a lot of research to build out a local team that could safely be able to, again, film our subjects in these sometimes in remote places as well. I think, again, that taught us a lot of things, and I feel like also saved a lot on our carbon footprints if we had been flying around and, bringing a bunch of crew members as well. And it also, built and helped like the local economy and hiring local people to be part of this production as well, which I thought was also fantastic. And they were also able to connect with the issue at hand as well, which I think is very important. So from working on Jane and seeing Sinking Ship's next production, Wordsville, which, again, they adopted some of the same things that we used from Lockdown as well as from the Jane series. And so this new series that they just did, that I actually just directed on as well, used these remote kits, not because we needed to be distant at all, but because we thought that would actually be a cost efficient as well as just everything was compact. You don't need so much stuff, and I think the show produced still incredibly well. And I think there's a lot of savings from there, not just from like the budget perspective, but also in terms of energy, as well as like a lot of the gear that we used on Jane was repurposed for this series as well. And I think I'm not sure if everyone has seen this in the last like few years, like how it's almost like taboo to have like plastic water bottles on set, and that most of the catering is coming from like, green sustainable like packaging and things like that. Has anyone seen that big difference in like no one prints slides anymore, only if it's requested, everything's gone pretty digital? Because I feel
Yeah.
like that to me is that shift is when productions itself like are changing that culture around and not feeling or thinking that everything can be so disposable just because, you may have the resources or money and you just want to do faster, quicker, now. So that's all positive and exciting things. Obviously, there's still a lot more to do. And I think that as Warren, you may have mentioned, it's like everyone needs to buy in on this, not just like a filmmaker or, production team, but producers as well. And especially I think, the people who are holding the money bags, they sometimes they need to put in a little bit more money to be able to see this through as well.